And welcome back, guys, to NieR Replicant. I just finished the last episode. Normally, I take little breaks in between episodes, but I just could not put this down. What is going on? I'm so excited to see where this goes. All right. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out at a volume that rattled his teeth. Rollo slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard, "Vice! What's going on?" Rollo could see Vice's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled. And then, just as Rollo's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Zree, 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 zree. Shak, shak, shak. I'm not going to say what I was originally going to say. Chi, 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 chi. Woo woo wooma, woo woo wooma. Chic chic chic, chic 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 chic. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Rollo began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise. It's something else. The insects weren't just calling out. They were asking a question. One with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? A secret, yeah. Inwardly furious that Vice left the task to him, Rollo sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. Right? The sound of the insects stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Rollo like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest arthropods are making a road for us. Blah, blah, blah. I keep thinking about noises, said Vice with glee. Pleased at passing the test, Rollo moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said Rollo after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Rollo picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Absurdly easy, barked Vice. Now answer it. Rollo grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all. This one is pretty easy. I enter through a window but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Sunlight! Sunlight! A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Vice softly, I have never seen such a sight. God damn it. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey, look, cried Rollo, awakening Vice from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Rollo walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Rollo, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but end of the night with 3. What am I? Philip tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question.
If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Rollo. Well, at least it's an easy one. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I? What? I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon. Then end the night with 3. What am I?
Hello, Ash Ketchum. I have 4 legs in the morning. Okay. I get the riddle now. Crawls out as a baby. 2 in the middle of his life. He ends with 3 because... Okay, it's a man. A man. That makes sense. I think I've heard that before. I don't know. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor! Cried Rollo. The small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. What? Sorry? What's that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the death dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Rollo watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Rollo and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it! You actually made it back! His left hand grasped Rollo's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right squeezed Vice by the cover and swung him through the air. God, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Rollo withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the death dream seal, he said. At least, I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as Rollo filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the 3 of them laid down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Rollo cocked his head. Okay, hang on a second. This is crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Rollo and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten, continued Vice, it is words that control the death dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear they had awakened from their dream. Rollo shook the mayor's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. I think we made it. Oh, wow, said the mayor in an odd voice. We did. I'm back. He blinked once and then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. You two had no idea how much this means.
The death dream was spreading through our village and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream. The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back on the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, then glanced at Rollo and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life may take some getting used to, said the mayor as a wry smile crossed his lips. You shall relearn in short order, I am sure, said Weiss. For now, you should return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree, he explained with the prayer when the prayer was finished. It's the guardian of our village's history and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder, muttered Weiss. We should not put our faith in the gods. The mayor shook his head. Not the gods, the words. Legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as the sealed verse. Rollo and Weiss could not contain their surprise. It seemed a goal had been found in the most unexpected of places. I say, muttered Weiss, this is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, Rollo mentioned the strange man had given them the third riddle in the mysterious words he had left with them. I once saw a version of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. What in the world does that mean? Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, this is going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before, too. Rollo tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's some kind of illusion created by the death dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Rollo gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. And what exactly is going on here? That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Obtained a sealed verse. Obtained Dark's execution magic. Summon magical spikes from the ground to impale enemies. Charge to increase the number of spikes.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take
I just
much effort.
had to read a shit ton.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Return to Popola. Yeah. I have a feeling we're gonna get caught in a bunch of shit if I talk to another person, but I really want to. What's this? Oh, okay, let's talk to this person.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
No. They're all There's only two of them. Side quest city, here we come. Let's do it.
This person.
Yes.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sort of creeps me out.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
Hopefully these will be a little shorter. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior! I claw at the door of my jail, embedded thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me. And possibly I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy in a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. Why have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss. This is Rollo. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Rollo extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato, wow, music term, sounds of heavy rain. I never thought to hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good on our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Okay. At the end of the corridor, I found a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come across a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. Insanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving the most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed east. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. South. North. North. At the end of the path, waters rise my waist, exhausting me both physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually, I can stand the sight of the water no longer, and so turn my eyes upward. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me, leading me to believe that these people had lived long, long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It was constructed of a thin, breezy cloth and decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt with the most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume even by modern standards. Oh my god, are they in the past? As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my hands. Yet as I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner? A fellow inmate trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass, and so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside I can just make out a body. Whether or not this is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. The poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of the fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted in the portrait. I had been admiring a row of corpses blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough! Shielding my eyes, I paddle forward through the water. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. Proceed east. At the end of the path, I find myself at a great hall with only the sounds of rain and for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the movement I saw. This one splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. Take a moment to steady my shaking hands and slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs proved to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat back up the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead before the meal began. For if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonizing screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasps frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment. Though in truth, I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. Proceed west. Water's risen my chin and now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. "You dumb bast!" Shouts Rollo. He surely desires to say more, but the rest of his insult is cut short by the rising water. Grandma Vice, wet and tattered, floats on the water's surface. It was already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Oh, fuck! Wow, I went the wrong way. Good thing I saved.
Now I can find.
Alright, so that was really dark.
It's what
So now I gotta skip all that dialogue. Okay. Let's get this through as fast as possible. And proceed north. Proceed east. Then north. Wait, northeast. South. North. West. A row of heavy wooden casks lies on their sides in a dark chamber. Doubtless, they are filled with wine. My thirst roars to life. I cannot remember the last time my parched throat had relief. I scramble to the first cask and pull frantically at the cork. The theft of a few cups means nothing, I tell myself. The casks will be ruined by the flood regardless. Finally, the cork surrenders to my attack, and thick red liquid bursts forth from the hole. This is no wine. It is blood still warm from the body. Whether animal or something else, I cannot say. The foul liquid soon mixes with the rising flood waters, creating a warmth that laps against my thighs. By all the gods, are the rest of these casks filled with blood as well? I lack the courage to confirm my suspicion. Disgust quickly becomes fear as I turn to flee, but my weakened legs betray me, sending me toppling over into the red ocean below. The smell of death is everywhere. It threatens to consume me. I must escape this hell. Crawling on all fours like an animal, holding back screams lest any foulness enter my mouth, I lurched forward through the red waters and out the room to freedom. I'm just going to proceed east. Proceed east. I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort.
The waterlogged red carpet oh, it's back to this shit. I'm gonna die again. See NieR. Yep. I died again. So it seems the only way I'm gonna be able to do this is to cheat. But that's okay. I think I've earned cheating after doing as much reading as I've done. Okay. I got my answers that I need to use. This actually isn't so bad. I actually almost had it the first time, it looks like. Alright. Let's enter this villager's dream.
Yeah.
Alright, so he's gonna be all like, oh god, I'm in prison. Oh, everything's horrible. Oh god, please get me out of here for the third time. For the love of God, third time's the charm. Let's find out. And proceed north. Alright. This is where things are gonna get, you know, a little bit different. Alright. And proceed east. Let's go down the dim corridors. And proceed north. Let's go down the dim corridors. And proceed east. At the end of the path. Find myself in a great hall with only a sense of rain for comfort. Alright. So after this, we're going to proceed north. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. Break it down, someone cries, and so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Rollo and Grimar Vice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters, and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asked Vice. Then you are a woman, madam. I am. I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing of how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Rollo is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, unaccountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades.
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Thank you so much for saving me. I never want to have a dream like that again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That was pretty brutal. In the next episode, guys, we're going to take on the second villager's dream, and hopefully it won't be nearly as So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side in the next episode of NieR Replicant. See you guys then.